morning. Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. Yes, Thursday. Yes, it's Thursday. So, today, I am talking about relationship breakups and the fact, the truth, that there is love in breakups. Make up, break up, to make up. Alright, so yeah, there is love in a breakup. There is love in a breakup. It sounds so strange. I encourage it. I encourage breakups. I do. And the reason why I encourage breakups, I kind of alluded to this before a while back, is because any relationship that breaks up wasn't based in love to begin with. There was not love present. So the relationship was based on a falsehood anyway. The falsehood of love being present. Oh, I love you, you're so cute, you're so kind to me, you're so nice to me. But, you know, with all relationships, even in dating, you never get the real person. You can sense some things. There's a few things, you know, people can pick up. They're like, oh, that's kind of strange, or that's kind of off, or something. You know, there's a feeling inside that says everything isn't perfect. But you want, those who desire a relationship only look at the positives so that they don't deter themselves from pursuing that person so they can have a relationship. That's, you know, a lot of people are really lonely out there, and so they're willing to do anything and everything to be in a relationship. And they don't know that they're doing this, but at the same time they know that they're doing this because they're actually doing it. They're actually ignoring the warning signs and only looking at the things that will foster what they believe to be a relationship. And so, you know, most people say these things like, you know, oh, you know, it's just small stuff, we'll work it out. And yes, things do come up. But when you purposely ignore it, you're creating a disaster for the future. And these are what breakups are. So when someone breaks up, it's one of the most loving things that you can do for you and the other person. One, because if you are breaking up, that means that there are some feelings, some ill feelings going on. There's some hatred, some anger, there's some sadness. There's a lot going on within that relationship. And once you break it off, all those things cease. They stop. And that is self-loving. And sometimes there's a person that, like, there's so many dynamics in relationships. It's just too many to cover in a video. But there are individuals who will do absolutely anything and everything for the other person because they're so vulnerable, they're so lonely, they're so empty inside that they need the other person. They need the other person's energy, they need the other person's spirit, they need the other person's presence in order to feel fulfilled. And that's an addictive relationship. That is what an addiction is. So I need you to feel good, just like a crack addict needs crack to feel good, or a marijuana smoker needs marijuana to feel good, or a meth person needs meth to feel good. So it's all the same thing. They need something else outside of themselves in order to feel good. So if you're this person, and this is interesting because I know many...
Weather alert. Gale warning in about 20 miles from current location.
I know people... Sorry about that. I can't control my car. It's just connected to the satellite, so all these messages come in sometimes. Anyway, so I know people who actually love people who will do things for them. And so they're like, oh, wow, this person can cook for me. This person does my laundry. This person does this. This person does that. I don't have to worry anything. They're so kind. They're so whatever, giving and thoughtful. And I just love. But after a while, they realize that that's not really what they want, because now this person doesn't even, the person that they say they love so much for doing all these things has no backbone. They have no desires. And so what they start to feel is pressure, because the person who's doing everything is always deferring to the person who's getting all the things done. And they're like, can't you make a decision on your own? Or, you know, why do I always have to be the one to make the decision? Then they start to realize that what they thought they wanted, what they thought they liked, they really didn't. And so they get annoyed with that person. And so they start treating them, you know, it's like, you know, in a bad way. but not understanding this is what they asked for, this is what they desired in the beginning. And so some people don't want the pressure of living their life and living their other person's life, meaning they don't want to have to make life decisions for themselves and make life decisions for someone else at the same time. That's a lot of pressure to live two lives when you're really only responsible for one. So in this respect, you have a situation where, it's unloving because, one, you're not helping the person who is the empty, lonely one who wants to cater to your every need. You're not helping that person because that person is not allowing themselves to become a strong, independent person. And each soul is capable of being a strong, independent person. But at the same time, the person, they get a double whammy. The person who's receiving everything likes the things done, but at the same time doesn't like the pressure. And so there's a lot of animosity, there's a lot of hatred, there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of this, that, and the other going on. So it's the whole relationship is unloving. So once they break up, once they stop, there is love in that breakup. Because, one, you stop using the other person because they're so weak. See, that's the thing. Only weak people can be used. Only people who are not strong and do not know of themselves, do not know who they are, do not know what they want, only these people are able to be used. So they have no self-validation, so they need others to validate them. So you have this situation where the weak person is being blamed for being weak, and at the same time the person receiving it doesn't want to let it go. And so, but they're frustrated at the same time. And this is what I'm saying. When that ceases, there is love in that moment, because you're saying, all right, you know what? I'm no longer going to use you, and I'm not going to make myself angry trying to live your life too. You need to grow up. I need to be more self-sufficient. I need to be more responsible. I need to have accountability for myself and taking care of myself. And you need to do the same thing. There's love in that. Every time I see a breakup, I'm like, that's the deal right there. That's what you need to do. Because obviously if they're breaking up, there's problems. And if there's problems that can't be rectified, then you need to separate in order to find yourself. Because the problem is never the other person. The problem is always you. So if there's two people involved, there's problems in both of you. Both of you are the problem. It's never just the other person. So the person who wanted to use the person who is weak and wants to do any and everything for everybody else, it's wrong of that person to use that person, and it's wrong of the other person to seek validation from someone else. So like I said, the relationship was based on falsehood to begin with, and it's not going to change until you work on yourself. And you can't, I can't say you can't, but it's very difficult to work on yourself when you're with the person who is or with the other person who's feeding the addiction. Because there's two addictions. One, the other person is doing everything, and the other person who's doing everything is getting recognition and praise and love. Not really love, but recognition and praise from the things that they're doing. So I recommend breakups. Children, if children are involved, and because oh gosh, I mean, look, it doesn't matter what it is. All breakups, and I don't want to say all, but really all breakups are having love within it. Within that breakup, there is love present. Even if it's a divorce, you've been married for 23 years. Obviously, if you're divorcing, there were some years that weren't good. There's some things that you can't reconcile. And so you need to go your separate ways so that you can heal. So it doesn't matter whether you're married for 50 years, 20 years, 30 years, or even 2 years. So, this man is really, you know what? I am not messing with you. I am messing with you. I am not messing with you. So, I refrained, but I said it in my soul, so it's no different. Never mind. Alright, so, let me turn the air up a little bit. It is so windy. It's 83 degrees right now, and it's 6:27. Oh, 6:27. There's my 27. Oops. Sorry about that. Put it back. So, there we go. Yeah, there's just love and breakups. And people think, a lot of people think that it's bad to break up. You hear these older people, stay in it, work it out, and before you know it, you're really beat down. You're arguing all the time. You can't stand each other. You're not talking to each other. And that's the worst. That is the worst, people. You are damaging yourself so much when you're in a relationship and you're not talking, because there's feelings, there's emotions, and there are things that you are saying within your being that you're not saying aloud. And so you're really not expressing yourself. And because you're not expressing yourself, you allow yourself to be in a situation where there's a lack of love present, and it's strong. You hate the person's guts. Every time you see that person, you hate them. Every time you avoid that person, you make it a point to avoid that person. Therefore, that person is in your consciousness. And you're like, oh, I can't even roam around in my house freely because this jackass is here. Or I can't go anywhere because this bitch is here. And this is what happens. This is what I'm saying. Breakups are so loving because you stop it. Because in that moment, the hatred, I don't want to say it stops completely, but you stop a whole lot of it from, you dissipate it, or I should say it dissipates. So it's not as strong, it's not as intense. When you go to your separate corners, and when you leave the person's space and you're in your own space, you get to do the things that you love, and you get to focus on the things that you want to do, the desires that you have. Sorry, I don't know, I have the hiccups, burps, I don't know, whatever you will call it. I think it's everything together. A yawn, a burp, and a hiccup. Anyway, so hold on, I want some of this coffee. I went to Nespresso. They had these new flavors. I got an email, and one of them is a raspberry something. And I'm not really a flavored coffee person, but the raspberry is really good. It's not sweetened, but there's that hint of raspberry right there. I don't know, it's just... And it's for a moment. It's for a brief moment, and then it goes away, it dissipates. Anyway, so, what was I saying? The breakups. When you go to your separate corners, you have your desires. And because I've experienced this in my own life. Before I knew all that I know today about this stuff, about the soul and energy and karma and just the way things operates, emotions. Once the breakup, so before the breakup happened, well, I'll just use my last one. Before the last breakup happened, there was a lot of arguing, there was a lot of irritation, and I was devastated when the person left. But what I didn't know is that I was no longer being abused, I was no longer being angry. And it's one thing, and the sadness that was being released, that was a good thing. That was a good thing. The sadness that was being released because of the breakup was a beautiful thing. But the abuse that we were doing to one another wasn't a good thing. So the abuse stopped, so the unloving behavior stopped, the angry feelings stopped, and now the feeling of loss set in. And that feeling of loss was being felt and expressed. That's part of, well, I want to say the hardest that I've ever cried. When my mother died, that was the hardest I've ever cried. But the second hardest was my last breakup. And so, looking back on it, I understand the process that took place. And I was in my own space, and after the grief had happened, I was able to focus on me. I was no longer, now, the last relationship I had was back in 2000. I think it ended in 2001 or something like that. So this has been a long time since I've been in a relationship. And if I were to have been in that relationship all these years, it would have been a complete nightmare. All of these years. There would have been arguing. People do not let things go. If something happened 10 years ago, it's always there. And when you're mad at somebody, you bring it up. And this is what I'm saying. It's good to break up. It's good to end the relationship if it's not a loving relationship. But you have to be able to see that it's not a loving relationship. However, it is damn near impossible to break up when you have so much anger within you. Because when you have a lot of anger within you, you want to let it out. And who's the best person to let it out? The person who wants to let it out on you. Because now you're in a sparring match. Now you're saying things back and forth because you're releasing your anger, and that's not loving. But as soon as you break up, that is the loving part. You love yourself and you love the other person because you're not allowing yourself to be beaten or torn down, and you're not allowing yourself to destroy yourself because you're spewing out all this anger towards the other person. So you stop the damage, is like I said, you stop the hemorrhaging, so you have to stop the bleeding in order to heal. But when you keep throwing punches at one another, for every punch that you throw with your words and feelings and you damage the other person, you've damaged yourself as well. You've darkened your soul. So every time you say, look here, you son of a bitch, you did all this shit to me, you left me with all this, blah, 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 you're damaging yourself in that moment when you're tearing the other person down. Your soul is degrading, your soul is darkening, and therefore, more law of attraction events on the negative side of things are going to come. They're going to come more often, and they're going to come with greater intensity. And this is what I'm saying. This is why it's good to break up. When you see something going left, exit. Just exit, because it's not worth arguing with anybody. Same thing for like in the workplace, the things that go on in the workplace. People are attacking left and right. And what am I doing? Not a damn thing. Why? Because I understand. I understand if I even say anything in return to you, if I hate you in secret, I am going to pay the penalty. I am going to suffer the cost of that. And that's not what I want for myself. So if I want good karma, why am I going to engage in anything that is going to create a bad karma? I don't know. No, I don't need the lesson, universe. I got it. Stop the lesson. If you want the lesson to stop, then you have to get the lesson. You have to understand. This is why it's important to notice and recognize everything that's going on with you. This is why it's so important. Is my phone blurry? I can't tell. Let me see. I don't know if it's blurry or... I don't know. Something. I don't know. Hope it's clear for you guys. I can't tell. Anyway, so, yeah. Yes. Oh, I need gas. I gotta remember that. So yeah, breakups. Now I'm not telling you to go. I am not telling you to go and break up, because that won't help you. I mean, it will help you if if you break up and you stop abusing one another. But if you want to get the most benefit out of breaking up, then you have to understand why you're doing it. Understand why you're leaving the situation. Understand, and I know some people are hating me, and I have a person in mind already who's like, if you don't shut your face, that's fine. They're angry, and the reason why they would be angry is because they're abusing people and they don't want the person who they're abusing to leave. That simple. But that person doesn't understand that they are abusing themselves. They're degrading themselves. And I was talking about, even the people at work, in the workplace, it doesn't, because it's happening in the moment. Like right now in my life, there's like a lot of things that are going on, but it's not going on within me, if that makes any sense. I'm not the one attacking people. I'm on the receiving end of the attack. But I'm not responding in like. And this is what they want, because they have so much anger, and they need to release the anger that they have. So what's the best way to do that is to create a sparring partner. But if you don't get into the ring, they don't have a partner. And that makes them mad anyway. So it doesn't matter what you do or don't do. What's important is what you do to yourself. That's what's important. It's not important. It's not important about what they do. What's important is what you're doing to yourself. That's always the most important thing. You are most important. If you can recognize this, if you can recognize that you are the most important. Ooh, I knew he was gonna get him. All that BS, jumping in and out of lanes and stuff like that. You can't be doing that with the po-po behind you. What was that? Well, the voice was like that. I just said it the other day. It was stuck in my head. Oh, now it's 65 degrees. Good grief. Guess I can turn my air off, but actually I'm just going to put it to 63. What was I saying? Oh, ain't no blade can protect you from the true. Ain't no blade can protect you from the true. From Cloud Atlas. It reminds me of that Sling Blade, which is interesting that the voice is similar and the word blade is used in both. Anyway, so, break up. Yes, break up. Break up. Find yourself. You are the most important thing. So what's important is you loving yourself, allowing yourself to be in a space to gather who you are. Because at the end of the day, you are responsible for you. Nobody else is responsible for you, and nobody else can heal you. Only you can. But you have to give yourself the opportunity to do that. Look at it like going to the hospital. The doctors don't heal you. They just create an environment in your body so that it can heal. Why do you think cancer is cut out? So that you can heal. The body is needing to heal, but it can't because there's foreign things in it that shouldn't be there. There's degradation. There's darkness. That's what disease is. So anytime you have an infection, the doctor cleans it out. We have to clean out the area and then bandage it up. And underneath that bandage, the body starts healing itself. That's what it's all about. That's how you heal yourself. But you must remove the degradation. You must remove the darkness. You must remove that which is preventing the healing. And anything unloving is preventing the healing, whether it's coming from someone else or coming from you. Whether someone else is abusing you or you're allowing yourself to be abused. You are a participant in everything that happens to you. Other people are just cooperative components. The person who beats you, the person who tears you down, they are a cooperative component to who you truly are. So when you don't love yourself, you have someone who comes to you and doesn't love you to show you that love isn't present within you. That's all that's happening. But when you say, you've been doing all these things to me and it's your fault, it's not. It's not. Even as a child, when you are abused, the only reason why you're abused is because your parents gave you the abuse from their soul to your soul. From their soul to your soul. As, what is that movie called? The Total Recall? Is it? No, it's Star Trek. Your mind, or my mind to your mind to my mind. You guys are one. A child is nothing more. You know the little shortcuts too, people, huh? We can get some gasoline too. Now it's real cold in here. Jesus, let's do 70. That's too cold. The air is so dry out here today. It was 1% in my house and 2% outside. Anyway, humidity. So, you're one. The child is nothing more but a mini-me in an early developmental stage. That's it. That is it. So it's not that when a child is abused, it's not the person. The abuse to the child is a cooperative component. A cooperative component to what? A cooperative component to that child. The soul of that child is calling it to itself. It doesn't know that this is happening. Not even the parents know that this is happening. Not even the public around them knows that this is happening. This is not something that's well known. It's not really understood. But that's exactly what's happening. So when you see other people doing things to other people, understand that they are a cooperative component. A cooperative component to what? A cooperative component to the person who's receiving the abuse. When you see someone being praised and recognized, that is a cooperative component. A cooperative component to what? To the person who's receiving the abuse. I mean, to the person who's receiving the praise and acknowledgement. The reservoir is kind of full. Actually, it's really full. I thought they put those black balls on the water. Did they remove deteriorating and mold and algae and stuff growing. Now they're gone. I wonder what BS happened after they spent all that money. Oh well. Hopefully they learned the lesson. So, yeah. Break up. So many relationships need to end because they were not founded on truth. They were not founded on love. No honesty. It was all found. Most relationships are addictions. That's all they are. Oh, you're cute. You look good on my arm. Oh, you have money. You can buy me all the things that I can't afford. You can buy me all the things that I can't do myself or get myself. Oh, you have a loving family, so I want to get with you because I haven't been loved. Like, so many different reasons people get in relationships. Oh, I think I'm ugly, and you think you find me obviously acceptable. So, so I'll get with you, even though you treat me badly, you really don't acknowledge me, but I don't want to be alone, and you seem the only one to be acknowledging me and who I am, accept me for who I am. Of course they're going to accept you for who you are. You're willing to be abused. You're willing to do any and everything because you feel you're not worthy of who you truly desire. Some people settle, they compromise themselves by settling. It's not good. Where's my gas station? I gotta remember how to get there from here. I know I'm supposed to. Ooh, how do I? What? Hold on, I gotta think. It's been a long time since I came this way, and I can't remember. What street is this? I know I'm supposed to turn at the brown house, but what street is this? I can't even see the street. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, that's it, I guess. Like I said, I'm not saying to go break up, but understand that when you're in an unloving relationship, you're doing damage to yourself, and you're doing damage to the other person. And if you have children, you're doing damage to the child, because all you're doing is showing the child how to behave. All you're doing is showing the child when you're angry and hurt, this is how you act. So it's best to show your child when you're hurt or when you're angry to, where am I? Am I supposed to get on the freeway? I think the freeway. Am I supposed to get on the freeway? I think so. Going the opposite way? I can't remember. Jesus. What street is this? This is why I'm confused. I know what's the name of the street. Silver Lake. Okay. That doesn't help me. That does not help me. I think I am supposed to get on the, but I don't know which way. I do not know which way. If I go right, what's left? Hold on a second. Okay, I was supposed to get on the freeway, and I am supposed to go the way that I thought at first, but then I second guessed myself, and I would have gone the wrong way. So, oh, your children. Oh my gosh, your children are absorbing everything. They are itty bitty sponges, and they're getting bigger and bigger because they're absorbing all of the stuff that you keep putting out there as a way to live. So when you break up, to make up. Okay, wait a minute. Alright. It says go straight on Silver Lake. Now I'm really confused. I am really confused. your children are absorbing, I mean, they're like little itty bitty sponges, growing bigger and bigger and bigger because they keep absorbing more and more and more. Oh, now we're supposed to go this way? Oh, Lord Jesus. Okay, we're doing a lot today. Am I supposed to turn here? It says turn. Okay, go this way. Oh, I would have gone the wrong way. I am so confused. I'm so confused this morning. This is a big city and I'm lost. I never come to LA like this, so I just don't know my way around. Anyway, yeah, the children, people. I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. But they can't do that. You keep giving them all this stuff that's not supposed to be there. You know, people, this is not rocket science. The Creator has created this stuff to be easily understood. This is so simple. I know anybody who listens to this will understand what I'm saying, but that does not mean that they agree with what I'm saying. And most people understand as things are being explained in real time, but the but comes in. But she, but he, but I was taught, but this is the way. You see? People have their own way, and you have to let them do it. You have to let them stay in their relationships. That's why I'm saying I'm not telling you to break up. If you need to stay in your relationship and literally kill one another, then kill one another. If that's what you need to do in order to learn your lesson, that's what is going to need to be played out. And there's nothing you or anybody else can do about it. You have to let it play out. How many people have been murdered because of disputes in relationships? Many have died because of arguments in a relationship. And it had to play out that way. It had to play out, and there's nothing you can do. Nothing you can do. Because everyone has the right to live their life how they feel they want to live their life. And the consequences are the consequences. If it's death, if it's being in the hospital, if it's being paralyzed, if it's being in a coma, that's the consequence. However, had you broke up when you were supposed to, when you finally realize, and that's the thing, people just don't realize it. They don't see anything wrong with it. But had they known, this can end up really bad and I'm damaging myself because, it doesn't have to happen that way. But people allow it to happen that way because they're not looking at anything past their current experience, and they don't want to feel like, oh, you got the best of me, and they don't understand there's none of that. You need to get the best of yourself. That's what's important. You getting the best of yourself. I need me some. I'm glad the gas prices went down because it used to be $3.99. Now it's $3.75. I'm about to use my 15-cent discount. So anyway, I guess I can leave it there. Hold on a second. Okay, I'm back. Hope there's in front of me because I would definitely be hitting it. Oh good, there's not. Ooh, but there's a curve. Boom, boom. Alright, so may break up to make up. That song is so crazy. Yeah.
Weather alert. High wind warning in about 5 miles from current location. Weather alert. Gale warning in about 10 miles from current location.
Okay. Well, I've gotten the warning. So something I was thinking about in the gas station, and now it just slipped my mind. All kinds of things slipped my mind. I guess that's all. Just if you're in a bad relationship, and this even applies to family, not just intimate relationships, but friendships, family relationships. If you are in a place where you're unhappy with these people, the best thing to do is remove yourself and find ways, or find out why you're unhappy. Find out why these people trigger you, because that's basically what's happening. People are triggering you, or people are abusing you. And so if you remove yourself, if you break that relationship, then you're able to find out what exactly is going on within you. There's some self-discovery that happens, and self-exploration. And once you identify what these things are, and you release what these things are, then actually you can go back. If you only identify it in your mind, and you're like, oh, well, this is why this is happening, that's not going to stop it from happening. That may allow you to defend yourself, meaning that may allow you to verbalize what's bothering you with the other person, but that doesn't mean that it's going to stop it from happening. In order to stop the abuse from happening, if you are being abused, you have to release that which is within you, within your soul, so that the law of attraction does not bring that abuse to you. That's the only way to stop it. You can't use man's laws to stop it. You can't use man's understanding to stop it. In order to stop it, you must understand God's view from it. You must understand the Creator's view from it. And what I mean by that is, you must understand how the soul operates since the Creator created your soul. That's what I mean from the God's perspective. We are made from God's perspective, as in terms of what a soul is supposed to be, how it's supposed to act, how it's supposed to interact, how it's the nature of or not the nature, but the love that is supposed to be within it. This is the understanding that you must have. You must have the same understanding as the Creator has about the soul. You can't look at it from man's perspective. I see all these things, I love watching Judge Judy, and these people are trying to use these man-made laws to correct something, but you can't correct it. You cannot correct it. Yeah, you may get money, you may get the highest dollar that you can be awarded, which is $5,000 in the small claims court. You may get your $5,000, but that doesn't stop the pain. That doesn't stop your irritation from the person doing what they did to you. And if you're trying to use money to get back at them, meaning you're trying to get an award in your favor and have them pay for it, and you think that's going to get them back, you're mistaken. If it's rightfully yours and you just want what's rightfully yours, then that's, hey, you're getting what's rightfully yours. But if you're trying to punish someone and add all this stuff and make stuff up and make it more dramatic, you're going to pay for that. So that little measly money you're getting, you think, that little measly money that's going to be spent in the matter of, what, a month or two, perhaps, is nothing compared to the karma you're going to have for the rest of your life if you don't clean up your act. This is why don't mess with karma, people. Don't mess with it. It's not worth it. Negative karma. It is not worth it. You may get your little instant gratification from hurting someone or getting someone back, retaliation, but that's nothing compared to the lifelong karmic experiences that you're going to get from that you do to the other person. It's not worth it. This is why people are so jacked up. They want to get people back. They want to retaliate. That's why I said, earlier, people are attacking me. They say things about me. They lie, straight out lie. But the people, that that they're telling the lies to, they're not believing them because they know who I am. They know who I am. This is why I'm not worried about it. I'm like, you know what? They already know who I am. And all they're doing is learning about you. See, they already know me. They're just learning about you. The liar. Hello? That's the way it works, people. You're exposing yourself. That's all we can do, though, is expose ourselves for who and what we are. We do it every day. If you smile in everybody's face every day, but people know that you talk about other people, they know who you are. You've already exposed yourself. You may see, because they're smiling in your face. This is why. This is why people who gossip love people who gossip. They love people who gossip. So the one person gossips, I'll make that another video, but that's an interesting thing, the way that happens. But anyway, you are exposing yourself for who you are. That's just, you can't ever stop doing that. Even if you think you're projecting and portraying a different version of who you are, you're not. That is also included in you showing everybody who you are. You're just showing someone that you can be, or you can pretend to be something that you're not. You're just showing people that you're in denial. You can't say I'm a strong woman when you complain about being a victim all the time. It's contradictory. How can you complain about people having power over you and at the same time saying I'm a strong woman? And how can you say that you're a loving man, but you do unloving things? Come on. You're always exposing yourself. The truth, you cannot be anything else but who you are. You cannot be that. You can only be yourself. You can't be the facade you portray. And if you have a great deal of love within your soul, or unless you're equal to that. So a con artist, people are conned all the time. All the time. And that's because they can't see the con man or the con woman. They can't see the con. But the con man or the con woman can see the con. And someone with a great deal of love in their soul can see the con. Because light can see the darkness. Light can see what dwells within the darkness. It can see it all. Because it's light. It has it to shine all over the place. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Yes. But yeah, if someone who has love can see the con, someone who is a con person can see the con, but the person who isn't cannot, and the person who has a degraded soul cannot. They can't see past what they want. Ooh, Lord Jesus, this is lady. I know. Oh my God. Everything. This person is like, share this and you get $1 million. Share this and like this and you'll get abundance. And God is going to do this and God's going to do that. And oh, child, please. They just share these things left and right. It's a con. It's a con. They just want the post to be shared and liked 150,000 times. 1 million times. They want all these shares. So they write these stupid posts where they say you're going to get something. God's going to give you something if you press the like button. Oh, please. But people accept the con because they want it. They can't see past it. And it's only a degraded soul who can't see it. But a soul who has love knows that it doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. So they can't fall for the con. Okay, so you can't con a con man, and you can't con someone who has love within their soul. Because they can see it. Because they shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Alright, that's it for me. I'm so done. Let me order my breakfast so I can eat. I'm hungry. Alright, take care everybody. Happy Thursday. I think it's Thursday. And I will talk to you guys later. Alright, bye now.